everyone. Wow, that's tough to follow. Very tough to follow. I'm the president of Greenville Technical College. But what I'm going to talk about is the value of differences, and actually something that I learned being the president of different colleges in different states for the last 16 years. And like I said, the focus is going to be the value of differences. You know, you may have heard about a term called America is a melting pot. And what that really means is that we have people that move to the United States, to America, from all over the world. People, different backgrounds, of course different cultures, and that's why it's called a melting pot. You know, we're all together and mix us all up, and you have what you have. But if you dig deeper into that thought process, America, a melting pot, what that really means is you're bringing all these cultures together into one location, be it USA, and the thought is everyone from all these cultures needs to assimilate into one national culture. And that's the only way the country is going to be a success. That basically you leave your culture behind and you assimilate. And that's where the melting pot comes from. You melt all the ingredients and you all become one, and that's the only way we're going to be a success. There's another theory. The other theory is mosaic. And what mosaic says is that, once again, you have the same situation. You have people moving from all over the place, all over the world, different cultures, different life experiences. The belief is you can take the energy, the creativity, and the innovation that people from different cultures bring to the table, you might say, to focus on one challenge, on one opportunity. In other words, you don't leave things behind. So you have two completely opposing theories. And what I've learned leading organizations for the last 16 years is you can lead an organization from the melting pot type theory or from the mosaic theory. Let me give you another example just to drive the point home. Let's say everyone in this room is put on a team. The team is given a task to improve education. And I'm a melting pot type person. And I'm going to look at this team and I'm going to think to myself, the success is going to be pretty limited. I mean, I see people from different types of cultures, different ages, different life experiences. How in the world are we going to be able to come together and focus on one thing, and that's to improve education? That's the approach that an individual leading an organization will take if you believe in the melting pot type approach. I'm a mosaic type person. Same situation. We're all one team. We have a challenge. That's to improve education. Now what I do, I look at all of you as my team and I say, each one of you has different life experiences because you come from a different culture. That means we're going to have creative energy. That means we're going to have innovation. That means we're going to have a lot of different ideas that are focused on improving education. So think about it. The first challenge under melting pot is I'm spending all my time thinking about how I'm going to make you one, how I'm going to make you all the same. The mosaic theory, I'm going to spend all my time deciding how I'm going to channel all the energy. Now, which is more positive? I'd rather channel all the energy and bring your creativity, your different ideas to bear on the problem, the innovation. You may not hear melting pot and mosaic used that often today, but let me throw another term out just as relevant, and that's diversity. We all hear the term diversity. You know, the biggest mistake that I think organizations make today is they think of diversity as a thing, as something that you can touch, something that you can feel. Yeah, there's diversity plans, you know, something written on paper like this. You can touch this and you can feel this. The downfall of a lot of organizations, groups, communities, whatever the case may be, is that they create this thing called a diversity plan, problem solved. We can go on our way. My thought is, what I've learned from experience is that diversity isn't a thing. I say it's a belief. Diversity is a belief. It's a belief in the value of differences. I can point towards organizations that don't have this thing, being the diversity plan, but that the belief internally in the value of differences is there, and they're hugely successful as an organization because they've learned how to tap into the expertise of different cultures and focus it on the mission of the organization, much like my example of focusing on the mission of improving education. Another example, I work with employers all the time. Employers that employ 1,000 plus individuals, employers that have 2 to 3 people that work for them. Manufacturers, retail, profit, not-for-profit, healthcare, you name it. And in my conversations with these employers, we talk about, they tell me what they want to see in an individual for that individual to be employed by their organization and to be successful in their organization. And they tell me the skills that they need. And as you can imagine, the skills that are necessary to work in a manufacturing type entity versus a healthcare entity, of course, are going to be dramatically different. And they'll be different for every organization. But there's one similarity. There's absolutely one similarity, and that is the employers say to me, whether large or small, retail, private, not-for-profit, profit, the one similarity is the ability to work in a team environment. Let's go a step further. And what they say is, guess what? Are those teams made up of people that all look alike, are from the same culture, same age, same race, same gender, same everything? Well, of course not. So the point is, it takes individuals that not only have to value the culture that they're from, but it takes individuals to be able to work within a team and recognize the value that other people bring to the table, not just myself, but other people. A key component, I hear that every day from employers. You know, and there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history to individuals recognizing the value of differences. I like to read biographies of past U.S. presidents or other works of U.S. presidents, and my favorite is Abraham Lincoln. I just finished a book talking about his presidency. It was called A Team of Rivals. His team was, I see some people shaking their head, evidently I've read it too. His team is his cabinet. His chosen leaders, you know, secretary of this and secretary of that. That's his team. The rivals part of that title is because he chose people that did not believe the same as he did. Matter of fact, some of the people that President Lincoln chose ran against him in his bid for a presidency. But you know, even then, President Lincoln saw the value in bringing people together that had different backgrounds, different belief systems, because he had to bring a whole nation together. And he didn't want people that believed, that looked at everything through the same lens that he did. He needed people to bring creativity to the table. So we recognize it as well. In closing, a real recent example, and that is I met an individual. I was at a meeting in Orlando about a week ago. I was talking to an individual that worked at a university in Miami, Florida. And of course, talk about a mixture of cultures. You certainly will see it in Miami. And his role at this university was to advise students how to be successful at the university and in the community. And this individual is from Columbia, not Columbia, South Carolina, but Columbia, South America. I asked him what he did. What did he advise students? And he said several things. One, understand the language. He didn't say learn the language, and I found that pretty interesting. But understand the language. And the second one was don't forget where you're from. But he took it a step further, which is perfect. It fits into what I have found to be the key in successful organizations. He went a step further rather than stopping and saying, don't forget the culture you were from, but use the culture that you're from to help you succeed in the culture that you are now. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And I think he's exactly right. His third piece of advice, eat green bean casserole. And I said, green bean casserole? And he said, yeah, he said, you're truly American if you eat green bean casserole. And I said, you know, I grew up in central USA and I can't say I even enjoy green bean casserole. But his point was that was kind of his humorous side of advising students. His point was not only don't forget where you came from, but build upon that and use it. And that's the purpose of my talk. It really isn't good enough, whether it's myself or anyone from any culture, to simply remember where we've come from. But I think it's incumbent upon us to use our life experiences from the cultures that we grew up in to improve the organizations that we're in and to improve the communities that we're in. That's taking things a step further. I'm going to close with one of my favorite quotes from President Lincoln, and actually a quote I share with students at every commencement, and it goes like this. Your one true key to success is your own desire to succeed. I'll repeat that again. Your one true key to success is your own desire to succeed. And think about it. Basically what he's saying is, we can give you all the help we can, but you have to want it yourself. You have to work for it, and I think that's very true in any life situation. But I've added another piece to that. I've added my quote to his quote, and that is, your one true key to success is your own desire to succeed and your ability to recognize differences and the value that they bring to the table. Thank you very much.